कुंज विहार जय राधा माधव कुंज विहार जय माधव कुंज विहार राधा कुंज विहारी माधव कुंज विहार गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जना गिरिवरधारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन नंदन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा जय राधा कुंज बिहारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जना वल्लभ यशोदानंदन यशोदानंदन भज यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव श्री श्री राधा माधव की, श्री राधा वृंदावन चंद्र भगवान की, श्री गौर निताय की, श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री प्रभुपाद की। हरे कृष्णा। Thank you for joining. Who is there online? Who? Sahil Prabhu is there?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Sahil Prabhu is the nearest who has joined. Sahil Prabhu here in Pune, in Mumbai.
I am in Pune Prabhuji in morning.
Okay, after the class, come to Pune. Sorry, come to center.
Yes Prabhuji, I am making breakfast for daddy and dadi.
Wow, you are making?
Yes Prabhuji.
Very good, very good, very good. Very good, very good. I don't know how many of you will be. We'll do this on every Saturday, and we'll request all of you to come. Very beautiful. Just like there are two very important books in our shastras which to be read compulsorily rather. There are many huge body of knowledge Vedic literature is not small one, huge, so huge that we will not be able to finish in one life. That much huge. But then it is if it is not possible to be read in one life, then person will not be able to understand it any time. So that's why the essence of all of them is narrated in two books. One is Bhagavad Gita and then is Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada beautifully describes what is Bhagavad Gita and what is Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Gita is the law book and Bhagavatam is the, what is that? Case study. So if you start studying LLB, LLM, lawyership, then we have to understand the law. And law is not very straight. Law is not straight, right? One law is there, it has subparts, subdivisions. Lot of loopholes, even if they are not there, people make the hole. And then to close that hole, what is there? There are upgradations. When somebody, if the rule is there and because of that particular way that rule is being described, then you interpret in another fashion. And then you consider that I have obeyed the rule. But then because that kind of concession should not be taken by others, then they close the hole. But how that is done? With the addition of the law. और एक उसको सब टाइटल सब डिवीजन बनाओ, अपग्रेड करो, बताया मैंने, यू नो ना, ये लोग अभी हंगामा चलते रहता है, संविधान चेंज किया, बदल रहे हैं कुछ तो भी, है ना? So changes are because the people make some kind of problems to take the advantage of the rule by interpreting it in some other fashion. So the additions are there. But this is a law book. Law book is very small book filled with laws, one after the other. But then there is a case studies. It's a beautiful book of Srimad Bhagavatam. Case studies where what is written in the law book may not be understood by directly reading the laws. Then we understand the case study. Aisa hua. And then the thing was brought to the court and then judgment is given. And on what basis? How this particular law was applied in this particular case? What were the arguments of both the parties? All this is written there. That is a case study, right? Now the case study helps the person to understand the law more better. Barabar na? Yes, sometimes we may not be able to understand the law by reading the law, but when we understand the case study, then we can understand the law very easily. In the similar fashion, exactly like that only. Prabhupada gives a very beautiful example. Of course, when we see Prabhupada, this is actually the examples given in our Shastras. They describe Srimad Bhagavatam is a case study and Bhagavad Gita is a law book. Bhagavad Gita is a small, this much. Right. That also becomes so big for the people. That is the smallest. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the case studies where they describe how the laws which are described in Bhagavad Gita are actually the things happen in the world, or that's how the world is governed. This is called as book of the cases. So there is one very beautiful story. Srimad Bhagavatam is filled with stories, one after the other. One story gets over. By the time the story is getting over, from that another story pops up. आप लोगों ने पंचतंत्र पढ़ा है क्या? रेड कृष्णा को पंचतंत्र जंगल के स्टोरीज पंचतंत्र स्टोरीज और अनलिमिटेड पंचतंत्र स्टोरीज. Vikram Veta is another one. There is another Panchatantra one which describes one story is continuing, and in that one there is a lesson. And by the end of the story, the other story starts. And it's all the stories of the animals speaking with each other, all the birds and everything. These are all stories from the forest. So they describe the moral principles very nicely, what to be done and what not to be done. They are famous ones, Panchatantra. So Srimad Bhagavatam is also a story. So there are many stories, but one of them I would like to narrate this in our Saturday discussion, which will go for around more than 6 months or so. That is a story of Gajendra. There is a very famous character in Srimad Bhagavatam. And there are some around 12 cantos, there's 12 parts of Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the 8th canto, this story comes of Gajendra. So I'll read a summary to you and then I'll give some description. And then we will talk elaborately one by one. So this is a chapter summary. Canto 8, chapter 2. Have you heard Gajendra's name? No? You heard Gajendra? No? He was an elephant?
Yes.
Yeah, Sahil too has heard. Okay. So the elephant Gajendra story is there. You must have seen an elephant caught with a crocodile at the feet and he's praying to the Lord. No? Ocean. In the trunk he has a flower. Many. You will find the photos very often that the crocodile has caught here on his leg like this and like that. That one. That is Gajendra. Gaja Indra. Gaja is elephant. Indra is the king. Okay, Narendra. Of course, it happened to be the name of Narendra Modi. That's different. But amongst Nara means the people. The Indra means the king. So amongst the people, who is the king is called as Narendra. And then amongst the amongst the demigods, who is the king is called as Devendra. Dev and Indra. Indra is a technical term where a position, which is called as the chief amongst, like that. So Gajendra, why his name is Gajendra? Because he's the king amongst the elephants. Gaja means elephant. So this is a very beautiful story. This story is not a fiction story. It is a real story. And this has happened when Srimad Bhagavatam is a historic evidences of all the universal history. So this story describes the pastime of Gajendra. I'll read it for you. दिख रहा है क्या उधर? Summary दिख रहा है क्या उधर? The second, third, and fourth chapter of this canto describes how the Lord, during the regime of fourth Manu, gave protection to the king of the elephants. Yes, as described in the second chapter, when the king of the elephant, along with his female elephants, was enjoying into the water, the crocodile suddenly attacked him, and the elephant surrendered. Sorry, and the elephant surrendered to the lotus feet of the personality of God for protection. In the midst of the ocean of milk, there is a very high and beautiful mountain that has an altitude of 10,000 yojanas or 80,000 miles. This mountain is known as Trikuta. In a valley of Trikuta, there is a nice garden named Ritumat, which was constructed by the Varuna. And in that area, there is a very nice lake. Once the chief of the elephant, along with the female elephants, were enjoying bathing in the lake, and they disturbed the inhabitants of the water. Because of this, the chief crocodile in that water was very powerful, immediately attacked the elephant's leg. Thus, there ensued a great fight between the elephant and the crocodile. This fight continued for 1,000 years. Neither the elephant nor the crocodile died, but since they were in the water, the elephant gradually became weak, whereas the power of the crocodile increased more and more. Thus, the crocodile became more and more encouraged. Then, the elephant, being helpless and seeing that there was no other way for his protection, sought shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this story is described in 3 chapters. And what we read, the summary is chapter number 1. What happened ahead is in chapter 2 and chapter 3. But before we start, I'll narrate you some of the important things. So you got this point. What happened? That is an excursion place. There is a mountain. The name of the mountain is Trikuta. As we read, many details will be given. But there is that mountain, and that mountain there was a forest. In that forest there was a group of elephants. And the elephant, even if you see on geography and all, among the group of the elephant, one elephant is the king of the elephants. That group, yes, supreme. So they all went into the lake, and then there is one of the most um, cherished activities of the elephant to dunk inside the water for a long period of time, and then take the water and spray on every parts of our body and all like that. So they are doing all these things. They are water sports, water games. What do you call it? Here है ना? क्या नाम है इसका? Water park इधर है ना? लोनावला के near. Huh? Imagica. So they went to Imagica, something like that. And then, of course, there's so many elephants in the lake simultaneously making so much hangama. So surely some people will get disturbed. So the elephant crocodiles got disturbed, and then one of the crocodile attacked. Of course, there is a great struggle of all the living entities in the world continuous. They attacked on the elephant, and then he tried to save himself by various means. Elephant is not small; it's a very huge animal, very powerful animal, right? So there is a if there is a fight between the lion and the elephant, then it is very difficult to understand who will win. It's a very tough fight like that. But then elephant tried his best, he couldn't save himself. And then what happened? He tried, then he understood that I cannot save myself. Then he turned to Lord, and the Lord came to his protection That will be covered in the next subsequent chapters. So there are few principles in our Vedic literature, like Bhagavad Gita, which describes that this is not the one life which we live. Life is life after life we live. And this story describes that principle. Now the principle is described where? In Bhagavad Gita. This story will describe you how we live in this world, life after life. Actually, Gajendra when he starts fighting with crocodile, and when he sees that he cannot save himself, then what happens? He prays to Lord, and there are prayers. The last chapter of this series is the prayers by Gajendra. And if you're wondering, he offers such a beautiful prayers. How he understood this Tattvajnana? He doesn't go to Bhagavad Gita classes, right? How the Gajendra know how to pray to Krishna, right? It's not possible. So then that described that in his previous life he has already learned those prayers and is absorbed in that prayers in the previous life, because of which he could utter this kind of prayers in this life. This was not that he was learning these prayers in this life. But then when we speak about the reincarnation, now this reincarnation becomes a rule, kind of a theory in Bhagavad Gita. But when we read this particular prayers or particular stories, then we can understand, every single living entity takes birth, grows, dies, takes birth. And that's how it continues in the world. And Gajendra's pastime describes this very vividly. He was a very great king, very pious king, for knowing all the scriptures, for already knowing all the shlokas and prayers and all everything. And that he has learned in the previous life, he repeated that one. So that describes, there is a description of Gajendra who was there in the previous life in his description. That will come to know when we will start discussing this chapter. Another one is very important one, is that we should perform our duties in this world very nicely, but simultaneously we should know that there can be problem and danger at any step. This is what is description of the Shastras in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Padam padam yat vipadam natesham. Where are the dangers, the life threats, or the problems in this world? Where are they? Very far from us? No. Huh? Yeah, every step. Padam padam yad vipadam. Vipadam is the calamities, the dangers. क्या लाइट नीचे padam padam yat vipadam natesham. So after this Ahmedabad plane crash, there was a poster not made by ISKCON devotees. It was just floating around on the uh, internet, social media. We are not safe in the plane. We are not safe in the hostel because it fell on the hostel, right? And there we are not safe in the excursion. Tourist जाते हैं ना घूमने घामने के लिए. There was a photo of Pelgam. There was a photo of plane. There was a photo of hostel, and some train accident was there somewhere. And there is this guy. We are not safe in the train, right? And then you will be shocked to know, but there was a very big man here in Pune, and in the night the maid kept closed everything in the kitchen, the last one, but there was a small leak of the cylinder which was not noticed while getting out from the kitchen in the night. The leaked for a long period of time, and the whole gas was filled in the kitchen. Morning, the landlady came, the owner of the home, and he just switched off the button. कुछ नहीं, lighter नहीं लगा, but in the switches also there are some flicker of spark, and boom, everything burst. Cylinder, gas, kitchen, and madam also, of course. And this She never felt that something like that will be. So of course we are not क्या बोलते हो pessimists, we are optimists. Generally spiritualists are considered as pessimistic, but it is not that pessimistic. It is optimistic. It's optimistic in the sense that you don't unnecessarily exaggerate the situation. Everything is nice, fine, 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 fine. You ask the people, how are you? They're fine. How are you? Fine, right? So that is not so easy to be fine. People will take it just casually that everything is fine. So we need to have a good amount of struggle to keep it fine, and also sometimes all the things are fine and something boom happens and it doesn't remain fine anymore. So that's why it is described that there are 2-3 families from Pune in the Pahalgam, and one family was connected to the temple, was coming regularly to the temple. We went to the final rites of the man because madam came back. They did not kill them. So the man, the man was there, and she was just really was not understanding only. हमने क्या गलती किया है? So just asking the same thing again and again. कोई पिकनिक पे जाता है क्या गलती करता है वो, right? Or the but the shastras don't keep unnecessarily in an illusion. Oh, everything is fine, everything is fine. No, described anything can happen at any point of time. That has to be that is not pessimistic. That is realistic. There is optimistic, there is realistic, and there is pessimistic. Pessimistic means always thinking down, negative. That's called pessimistic. Optimistic is always thinking best. हाँ हाँ, जो हो रहा है ठीक है, या अच्छा होगा ही होगा, एक दिन अच्छा होगा, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन, something like. So they describe that they describe with an example of a glass of water, right? If the glass is half filled, if you say glass is half empty, it's pessimistic. Glass is half filled is called as positivity. No, optimistic is no, the glass is full only. Even if it is looking up, one day it will be filled also. Yeah, yeah, something like that. And realistic means glass is half filled and glass is half empty. That is realist. So if we come to the Shastras, they are very realistic. They are not unnecessarily trying to fluff the whole thing. Neither they are trying to put it off everything. They describe we need to do everything, just like Arjuna is describing to Krishna. You do your duty first, then we'll see the result. Right? Result is not in the hand. What is in hand is my action. Action is in my hand. Result is not in my hand, right? Result is in my hand? No. So that is also described in this. There is another one beautiful thing, which is well described again, and this is the primary teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita is one should take the shelter of the Lord in good and bad times. That means all the time. That's all the time. It's not that we need to be in conscious Krishna consciousness for a certain fraction of the time in the day, or it's not some particular period of the day. No, we need to be conscious of Krishna and Krishna's mercy on us all the time. That is what is being described in this. He tried this way, that way, this way, nothing worked. Then he came to the Lord. And that shows that who can help us really in the world is the Lord. We need to perform our activities, but we should know that Ekala Ishvara Krishna, whether Krishna is the one, the Lord is the one who will be able to save us, will be able to protect us. And that is described again and again and again. This Bhagavatam describes this, the child is there in the mother's stomach, womb, and it's so difficult. You can't take care of that child. Who takes care of that child? Nobody can take care of that child. There is nobody to take care. मदर इधर उधर घूमते रहती है, कुछ भी करते, उल्टा करो पुल्टा करो, right? She eats so many things. So, and as he is hanging upside down, the head is down, legs are up, right? So somebody will die in this position. But it takes care. When we come out, who protects this? The parents and everything is a medium of the Lord to protect us. But the real one who can protect is the Lord. Yes, we need to be grateful to all the personalities who have done raised us. And behind that there is a Lord. How can we understand behind there is a Lord that even if all these people are there are chances that we may get into danger and will not be able to overcome. But if the Lord is there, He makes some arrangements, then without these people also, there can be safety. That's what is being described. In such a powerful airline, thousands of planes are going on. One plane crashes. Now you may say, "Arey, hota hai, itna to theek hai." But in that one guy survives. Now he cannot take the credit for himself that he got survived. That's actually the plan of the superior system by which he got survived. He is not the one who saved himself, right? So this is what, when we see that there are so many possibilities, Shastra describe, when our devotees describe an accident. If the car is moving on the road and sometimes the car crashes, and then what happens is sometimes the car crashes, but everybody is very nice. Nothing happens to them. It is a reality. Many times it happens. And sometimes there is a small jerk. कुछ नहीं, some color उड़ता है, थोड़ा scratch होता है, but at that time, 3 people in the car just go on the spot. So the life is not in our hand. Life is in the hand of Almighty. So the prayer Gajendra describes. Why this example is given, there is a very beautiful understanding behind this. It's not that this is the first elephant who went into the water and the first crocodile who caught the elephant's leg. ये कोई पहली बार नहीं हुआ है. There are many times elephant has gone inside the lake, and many times crocodile has caught the elephant, and sometimes the crocodile has taken the elephant into the water and eaten it out, finished it. This particular incident is described because Gajendra is the king of the elephant. If such a powerful person can get into the danger, then what to speak of small people, right? The whole entourage is there with him. He has other elephants in the herd. There are many other she elephants who are there with him. So it's like Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. What are we discovering? Yes, why the example of king is given? Because if the king cannot help himself out, then what to speak of ordinary people in this world? That's what is described. And there are many people, places where the king is king has got into danger. In France, the king got into the danger in the history. If you read, king was killed by the people, general people. And in our India, there are three great personalities who are killed by the people, general people of their own nation, right? So that these particular incidences are described because even the great personalities in the world will have of time. The ordinary people का बोलने का जरूरत ही नहीं है. Like that. So all these are the very beautiful uh, aspects which are described in this particular pastime. And then the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam goes that there is a shloka, there is a translation, and there is an explanation by Srila Prabhupada. So we'll try to read some of the shlokas, then you will be understanding some things. Should we read? Can you read the? Can you show the first shloka? Are you able to understand online wala people? The sound is coming. हरी बोल है क्या sound line वाले सारे?
Yes,
I will take
Prabhuji.
them. Wow. आगे. हाँ. See, this is a shloka. There is a discussion between Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. This is Bhagavatam. You can try to read behind me. It will be very nice. Shri Shuka Uvacha Asid Girivaro Rajas त्रिकुट इति विश्रुतः शिरोदेनावृतः श्रीमान् योजनायुतम् उत्सितः There are word-to-word meanings of each one. Shri Shukadev Uvacha, Goswami Uvacha, he said that there was Girivaraha, a very big mountain, Rajan, O king, Trikutaha, his mountain name was Trikuta. Thus Vishnutaha, celebrated. Kshira Udena, by the ocean of milk. Avyatra, surrounded. This mountain was surrounded by the ocean of milk. Shriman, very beautiful. Yojana, a measurement for 8 miles. There are many various units of measurement. One of them is yojana. We just use kilometers nowadays, but then miles is used and yojana is used. Avyatam means 10,000. Ushritaha, very high. So Shukadeva Goswami said, this is a translation I am reading. My dear king, there is a very large mountain called Trikuta. It is 10,000 yojanas, 80,000 miles high. Being surrounded by the ocean of milk, it is very beautifully situated. When you see the translation, you will find the meanings of all the words are taken care in that. Yes, this also doesn't have the explanation. We will discuss on the fourth verse. Huh? Till that time, we will read. Second verse. Tavat visrutah paryak tribhi shunge payonidhim dishakam rochayannaste ropya yasahiranmayai अन्यश्च कुकुबः सर्वा रत्नधातु विचित्रितैः नानाद्रुम अलता गुल्म नी अच्छा इधर निधोर शेर निर्जराम्बसाम. You can see the translation directly. The length and the breadth of the mountain are of the same measurement, 80,000 miles. Its three principal peaks, which are made up of iron, silver, and gold, beautify all directions and the sky. The mountain also has other peaks, which are full of jewels and minerals and are decorated with nice trees, creepers, and shrubs. The sounds of the waterfalls on the mountain create a pleasing vibration. In this way, the mountains stand increasingly the beauty of all directions. You can see the way the picture is described or film is shooted. Some background is shown, something happens, the activities happen, then the entry of the main hero comes after some long time. Like that. The story has started now. Where this part time has happened. Sachavanji Managnir Samantat Payaurmibhi Karoti Shamalam Bhumim Harinmarakatashmabhi. The ground at the foot of the mountain is always washed by the waves of milk that produce emeralds all around in the eight directions, north, south, east, west, and the direction midway between them. Now we will read this and then we will have some discussion. From Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand that there are various oceans. Somewhere there is the ocean of the somewhere there is the ocean filled with milk, somewhere an ocean of liquor, an ocean of ghee, an ocean of oil, and an ocean of sweet water. Thus, there are different varieties of the ocean within the universe. The modern scientists who have only limited experience cannot defy these statements. They cannot give us full information about any planet, even the planet on which we live. From this verse, however, we can understand that if the valleys of some mountains are washed with milk, this produces emeralds. No one has the ability to imitate the activities of the material nature as conducted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these purports are very essential to read. You got the mountain? What is the name of the mountain? Trikut. Yes. Why this mountain name is Trikut? Yeah, it has three peaks. That's why it's called as Trikuta Mountain. The name and the activity should match with each other. That's why Trikuta. And the mountain peaks were of three different metals: gold, silver, and iron. And there are many valleys in the mountain, huge mountain. Just imagine. आप हिमालय गए हो क्या? नहीं? It's a huge mountain, Himalayan ranges. And people have not got to the. तो एवरेस्ट कोई जाता है तो उसको बड़ा सम्मान होता है उसको. But it's not the Everest is the last one. अब एवरेस्ट के बाद भी बहुत कुछ है. That is a peak which can be reached by the people. Otherwise, there are many more peaks apart from this. Very dangerous mountain. And it's like this, like this, like this. And there are valleys, there are plateaus, there are various peaks. But this mountain is having the major three peaks. And that's Trikuta. And Prabhupada describes this particular understanding, very important one. That this the ocean around the Trikuta mountain was of what? Which ocean was there around Trikut mountain? Milk Ocean. Yes, Milk Ocean. So Srimad Bhagavatam describes the universal uh, system of what is there in this world. Then Prabhupada is writing, we have a very limited understanding. This much only. Right. As soon as we come across these descriptions of this kind of oceans, it become very, it looks weird. Yeah, दूध का समुद्र का भी. Now the first thing is ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है और ऐसे नहीं हो सकता और ये नहीं है. This is the one thing. Prabhupada describes very beautiful. Many places the descriptions is there. Now somebody who has not seen the ocean of salt water, which is there in Bombay, here either in Boston. So if you tell him there is an ocean of the salt water, क्या बोलेगा वो? नहीं है. If somebody has not seen the ocean, even the saltwater ocean becomes too much of a mystery, right? Whatever we have not experienced is a mystery only for us. है कि नहीं? Can we consider that the mountain will be filled with the ice? It is difficult to feel this much house with the ice is difficult. Not to speak of covering the whole mountain with ice. So then there is Himalaya is already filled with the ice, right? So whatever is not in our experience, that doesn't mean that doesn't exist at all, right? It is if you describe a ant that the elephant exists, then she would deny ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. If the ants come together and one of the ant which has read Srimad Bhagavatam, the ant described that there is an elephant, and then describe the size of the elephant. Then what the ants will say, this kind of creature doesn't exist. It's an imagination. It's a speculation. It's a fantasy. It's a fiction, right? If the ant is moving on any part of the ocean, any part of the elephant, it will consider the elephant as a vast flat land, right? Yes. If the ant is anywhere on elephant, it will just consider, because first of all the ant is two dimension. उसका third dimension exist नहीं करता, two dimension में चलता है वो, right? So any part wherever the elephant on the body of the elephant, the ant is, it will consider the elephant is a flat land. So our experience, by that we will continue the conclusions. Based upon our experiences, we will conclude everything, right? You know, there are fights in the history where people used to consider that the earth is a flat surface, right? कौन था वो? Pythagoras or Galileo? Somebody. He was killed just because of that. He was telling the earth is round, and the king was ruling there used to consider Galileo, and he was he gives all the description how the earth cannot be a flat, it is a globe. So then the king was very angry. अब ये चलता कैसे सकते हैं? अब गोला है ऐसा, अब चल सकते हो क्या? और इधर रहने वालों का क्या? उसका प्रश्न ये है. तो आप किधर भी रहो अर्थ पे, you are anywhere on the earth, you will consider that you are on a flat land. बराबर है कि नहीं? It's so huge that it's like that only. But then he killed him. मार दिया उसको. बोले तुम गलत बोल रहे हो, गोल नहीं है, फ्लैट लैंड है. और फ्लैट वालों, अगेन फ्लैट सरफेस के में पीपल लोड, ओके यू कम एट द एंड ऑफ द फ्लैट सरफेस, व्हाट विल हैपन? नीचे गिर जाओगे. बोले हम तो इतना घूम घूम के आए, कभी गिरे नहीं, तो फ्लैट कैसे हो सकता है? फ्लैट वालों का प्रॉब्लम एक है और गोल वालों का प्रॉब्लम एक है. एंड देयर आर फाइट्स लाइक एनीथिंग. So when we describe सात समुंदर होते हैं, है कि नहीं? गानों में भी आते, पिक्चर के गाने, सात समुंदर के बाद, सात समुंदर पार करके, something like that. So these 7 oceans are 7 These oceans which are described, one ocean is of salt water. Where we stay, in the part of the universe where we stay, the ocean around it is saltwater ocean. But then there are many parts of the ocean where there are many parts of the universe where the oceans are of liquor, sweet water, ghee, and honey, and curd, like there's oceans like that. Mhm. So the very beautiful description comes. If the other oceans, liquor ocean, water ocean, milk ocean, ghee ocean, if they are imagination, suppose, hypothesis, then even the saltwater ocean is a hypothesis. बराबर है? You're getting? Even this is unrealistic. ऐसा पानी जमा करके एक जगह पे रखना, अरे हम टंकी पे ऊपर नहीं रख सकते, इधर से लीक होता है, उधर से लीक होता है कि नहीं? भरना मुश्किल होता है, खाली करना मुश्किल होता है, साफ करना मुश्किल होता है, क्या है, हंगामे चलते हैं हमारे इधर, चलते 1000 लीटर के टैंक में, इतना सब चलता रहता है. How much is the ocean? We have not got onto the depth of the ocean till now. अभी तक हम नीचे जाके नहीं आए, कहीं कहीं जाके आए, सब तरफ नहीं जाए, सब तरफ नहीं गए हम लोग. जहां जहां पे थोड़ा शैलो है, थोड़ा रीचेबल है, बाहर आने की शक्यता है, there we are gone. There are many places we are not gone only. जाते ही नहीं उधर कोई, right? So like that, the reality is even the salt water ocean can be as hypothetical as other oceans if you are not knowing the concept of the ocean. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is telling is you can understand the creation of God. If he can create salt water ocean, can't he create milk ocean? Can't he create ghee ocean? Can't he create liquor ocean? If a water ocean is possible, then any other ocean is possible, right? It's not the cow who produces the milk. She is the medium of giving the milk to us. It's God who produces the milk in cow. This is our Vedic concept. It's not. It's not that the cow can produce milk. If cow produces milk, then she should be produce any time. She should be able to produce any time of her life. When the child is there, after this she gets the birth to the child. 1 or 2 years she produces. After that, if she doesn't go to the next pregnancy, she doesn't produce. So if cow can produce milk, so when she eats grass and produces milk, right? But she eats grass till the last day of her life. But she doesn't produce milk every day. So who produces the milk? Right? So actually speaking like that, when this phenomenon of the gems, rubies, diamonds, they come into the picture, who produces them? It's not that earth produces them. It's not possible. Earth cannot produce anything. It's a medium to produce something. Cow is a medium to produce milk. Milk is produced by God. Nobody can produce milk. We cannot produce milk, although we are so advanced. So if the God can produce milk in the cow, can't that same God produce the milk in the ocean? That's what its Vedic logic goes, right? बकरी दूध देती है, बकरी दूध देती है, बकरी दूध नहीं देती है, बकरी घास खाती है, दूध अपने आप बनता है उसके शरीर में. बकरी दूध देती थी तो कभी भी दे सकती थी, right? So the very beautiful concept of that Shastras come into the picture. Don't consider all these oceans are hypotheses. If that is hypothesis, then even the saltwater ocean becomes an hypothesis. And that one, the Prabhupada used to give us a story of a Dr. Frog. Very beautiful story. There was a frog in a well, Nahr, Kuwa. There was a frog. There was a frog, and then the one frog comes from the ocean. And then the frog is telling, "Where are you from?" "I'm from ocean." And then what is the ocean? This is describing ocean. Ocean is a huge body of water. And the frog is the frog in the well is asking him, how big is the ocean? बोले मैं डिस्क्राइब नहीं कर सकता हूँ. ऑफ कोर्स हम भी नहीं कर सकते हैं ना. इट्स नॉट दैट द फ्रॉग. बोले ये जो मेरा वेल है इतना है क्या? ये हंस रहा है बेचारा. तो क्या वेल क्या बोल रहे हो? ये वेल व्हाई यू आर कंपेयरिंग दिस? अच्छा मच बिगर. हाँ डबल ऑफ द ओशन, डबल ऑफ माय माय वेल. फिर से हंसने चालू करता है दूसरा को. ओशन चाय वाला फ्रॉग. फिर अभी वो बेचारा कैलकुलेट कर रहा है ओशन का डायमेंशन. और उसका मेजरिंग क्या है पता है? वैली है. बोले डबल, ट्रिपल, 4 टाइम्स. अब छोड़ो यार तुम तो. यू कांट अंडरस्टैंड. या यू कांट अंडरस्टैंड द ओशन बाय द वेल. कितना वेल? हाउ मेनी वेल इज ओशन?
So the limited understanding you cannot measure that.
It's like that. It's like that. We stay in a particular small zone of actions. इतना ही है हमारा. तो हमको लगता है इसके अलावा और कुछ एग्जिस्ट में है ही नहीं. बस. And that's what is the biggest issue in the research work. If I can't do, nobody can do. If it cannot happen here, nowhere it can happen. पर ऐसा नहीं है. Everything is a miracle. Even Einstein, I was giving that talk somewhere. Einstein says very nicely. He says, if you see, everything is miracle. If you see, nothing is miracle. तो रोज गाय दूध देती, लगता है कि मिराकल है बोल के. खाती है गाय, दूध देती है, खाती है, कोई देखता नहीं, कोई देखता. नोबडी नेक्स्ट. अरे बट देखो तो सही, मिराकल है वो. It's a miracle, na? It's a miracle or no? It's an ordinary thing. We cannot. So everything is a miracle. Really, it is a miracle. एक आम भी झाड़ को लगता है ना, मिराकल है. देखो हम प्रयत्न करके देख सकते हैं, क्या लगा सकते हैं हम लोग? फिर मिराकल नहीं है क्या? मिराकल मतलब क्या होता है? आप जो नहीं कर सकते वो भी मिराकल है. वो टोपी लेता है, बीच में हैंडकरचीफ निकालता है, अंदर डालता है, कबूतर निकालता है, अंदर डालता है, खरगोश निकालता है, अंदर डालता है, फूल निकालता है. हाँ मिराकल. फिर आप नहीं कर सकते इसलिए मिराकल बोल रहा ना. उसको पूछो मिराकल है क्या? मिराकल कुछ नहीं है. राइट. वी कैनॉट डू, दैट इज ए मिराकल. राइट. तो आम झाड़ को लटक रहा है, हजारों झाड़ को आम लटकते. इट्स अ मिराकल. इट्स अ मिराकल. So it's not from the Bhagavad Gita. Even Einstein says, if you see, everything is miracle. If you see, nothing is miracle. It's like that. So every single creation, when we come to the Srimad Bhagavatam, is gives and just opens our doors to the wide range of the creation of God. इसलिए प्रभुपाद यहाँ पे बोलते हैं, ये our limited understanding. The modern scientists who have only limited experience cannot defy these statements. They cannot give us full information about any planet, even the planet on which we live. बराबर है कि नहीं? We are not knowing everything of our own planet. हमारे खुद के planet पे क्या चल रहा है हमको पता नहीं. Right, there are many places. African jungles are there. Even Himalayan mountain ranges are there. The Bermuda Triangle is there. Both Antarctica, the snow-capped mountains are there. Both the sides, North Pole and South Pole. Many places we just can't go. अभी भी नहीं जा सकते हम लोग. और जितने जाते हैं ना उसमें से 5% वापस आते, बाकी सब उधर ही रह जाते. इसलिए आपको कोई एक्सपीडिशन नहीं दिखता है इधर उधर जाने वाला. जा ही नहीं सकते आप. नॉर्थ पोल पे नहीं जा सकते ना साउथ पोल पे जा सकते. गया जा सकते हैं, वापस नहीं आ सकते. राइट. सो इवन आवर ओन planet on which we are staying is undiscovered. How can we just claim the universe is like this, universe is like that? नहीं, हम a very small one. But this verse, however, we can understand that if the valleys of some mountain are washed with milk, that produces emeralds. No one has the ability to imitate the activities of the material nature as conducted by the Supreme Personality of God. That is the last statement. No one has the ability to imitate. Imitate का मतलब क्या होता है?
Replicate.
Yes, replicate, to duplicate, Xerox. And this is really कितना अच्छा statement है देखो. Nobody has the ability to imitate the activities of the material nature. Can we imitate making papaya, banana, rice, dal, dhania, kadi patta? Nothing. This is that shit. Nobody has the ability to imitate. हम लोग नकल कर नहीं सकते ये सब चीजों की. Can we imitate making a rat, a mosquito? नहीं. We can't make a mosquito. We can't make a banana. Then this is as a nature रोज बनाते हैं. How many bananas a day? Crores of them, millions of them. हर दिन जो miracle ऐसे बना रहे material nature. We can't do it even one of that. This is the power of God that we need to see. Anyway, I stop speaking here. Too much speaking. But if you have some reflections, this is Srimad Bhagavatam. Would like to have?
Very big book.
Huh?
Small book I will read.
Yeah, you can read the small books. Hare Krishna. So we have covered 4 verses today. Next time onwards, we'll take more
So
verses.
this is the format है जो
श्रीमद् भागवतम का फॉर्मेट है जैसे भगवत गीता है वैसे 18 बुक्स है टोटल and it is divided in the canto skandha just like the Ramayana is divided in the kand Bal Kand, Ayodhya Kand, Kishinda Kand, Yuddha Kand, Sundar Kand. So their kand here is the canto skandha. So there are 12 of them and they gradually increase the understanding of the spiritual knowledge. And the 10th one is the peak one where Krishna is described. The 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna's activities are described.
is the Krishna book which we
That is the Krishna.
that is the same exact Krishna book.
Yes,
But we,
yes.
when we distribute we consider
Yeah, that is written in the story form. ये भी story है ना अभी हमने story बताया ना आपको.
so this small story with their
Yes, small story, small elaborate story. वो लंबा चलेगा अब ये तो. Huge story, very beautiful story, amazing story. So you have some questions based upon our discussion? You could understand everything? Does something made sense or it was?
these are stories which we used to study or read in the same thing, same idea.
These are the stories should be studied, of course, in the childhood, but should be studied when you become little more aware of the things. They are filled with
relate नहीं कर पाते.
yes.
Now we can
Yes, we can relate. Now we can relate because and that they don't we don't become so aware of these things unless we hear from. Just reading will not make much sense sometimes, many times. We also heard and heard and heard and heard and then are able to try to explain you some of the things which are there in these books. They are very relevant, very powerful, very good. But somehow, because of the modern education, they are considered primitive. Yeah, क्या है ये? काम करने. And they don't have any relationship with the bread and butter, so that's another problem, which is neglected at all, everything. But otherwise, they are the ones who will surely we have to earn the bread and butter, but surely we need to use that bread and butter properly in the right way. Otherwise, if this is not known, then it's used in a wrong fashion. And 100% it would be wrong, used in wrong fashion unless the scriptures is there. It's like the modern education is like the fast moving car, and the spiritual life is like a steering wheel. So fast moving car is essential, yes. Steering wheel is essential or no?
Yes.
कहाँ जाना है? इधर जाके उधर करके उधर उधर जाके धड़ाम करके फोड़ दे सब कुछ खत्म. तो एजुकेशन इज देयर बट पीपल डजंट नो व्हाट टू डू. किधर भी जाके फूट जाते हैं. कभी इसके साथ ना हो.
Direction.
हाँ, डायरेक्शन इज रिक्वायर्ड, गोल इज रिक्वायर्ड. वी नीड टू नो वेयर वी नीड टू गो. कहाँ जाना है भैया? गाड़ी तो ठीक है मगर कहाँ जाना है वो भी. So we surely have every single aspect of the knowledge, but this is a very important one. And even if sometimes you don't have speed wali car, no problem. Slow moving car, बैलगाड़ी, auto rickshaw, fine. But the steering wheel is mandatory, whether it is fast moving car or slow moving car or no car is a बैलगाड़ी also. बैलगाड़ी also has a direction. You pull the nose of this bull, then it will turn this way. You pull the nose of this bull, turn this way. You are not pulling anything, just go straight. It's very simple. So even the horse also they pull it. लगाम होती है ना, उसको इधर उधर करने की वजह से उसको समझ में आता है कहाँ turn. Yeah. So it's a most primitive horse also to the extent of a rocket. It requires direction. The speed may be different. So in the similar fashion, the spiritual life is mandatory. Speed your bread and butter may be different. It is required for the king also, it's required on the beggar also, and everybody in between. So please try to remember this beautiful concept. We'll try to revise a bit next time and then start. Yeah. So if somebody says, I'll take a small test of yours and then complete. If somebody tells you that, अरे ऐसा कभी होता है क्या कि इसका क्वेश्चन उसका क्वेश्चन होता है क्या, then what you will tell them?
Then we can say that. अगर
Please tell me how will you try to reply this particular argument, which I tried to explain.
that अगर कोई और दूसरे यूनिवर्स में ओशन ऑफ मिल्क है, देन उनके लिए भी ओशन ऑफ सॉल्ट होना
Yes.
ये होगा.
Hypothetical.
होगा.
Yes. And not just somebody who is staying in another world, even in this world. Right? What do we see around us? थोड़ा थोड़ा बहुत पानी देखते हैं. Right? If you really take someone who has not seen the ocean in anywhere, in the TV, anywhere, उसको उठा नहीं. He doesn't know the concept of ocean. उसको उठा नहीं. और समुद्र के किनारे रखते हैं. What to speak of that? जिन्होंने ओशन देखा है टीवी में और आप खड़े हैं, आपको आश्चर्य लगता है ये है क्या, है ना. कृष्ण को गए क्या ओशन को भी?
बीचेस.
हाँ, आपका बेंगलोर वही है क्या? समुद्र किनारे
चेन्नई के पास.
हाँ, चेन्नई के पास. So ocean is really a miracle. इतना पानी क्या पानी के अलावा कुछ होता ही नहीं है क्या? बोल रहे हैं चलो नेक्स्ट. Oh, I thought this is over. You can stop it now. Thank you. कौन है उधर मीटिंग में? कभी थ्रू है? वाह.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shobhit Prabhu.
Hello, Prabhuji.
I was telling you to study Gajendra Moksha from Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't know whether you have studied or not. So if you are not studied,
I didn't read it, but I have heard it.
you heard the lectures.
Yes, yes.
Then I will bore you now.
No, something
Huh?
again and again. Every time you say that.
Yeah.